Welcome, everybody again. Another week. Welcome to the Property and Investment Show. My name is Anthony, social entrepreneur, and my co-host
Violet Wamboy, property consultant.
And we're back. It's another week with an exciting show. Today, our show is still about investment and property, but we have a unique guest on the show, and I'm gonna give you the opportunity to hear from her in a bit. She has done something I think very amazing and unique. A US citizen born and raised, moved to Kenya, Africa, invested successfully, and now is helping other people repatriate to Africa. Yeah? This is personal. Because we are here from Africa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
And we hope soon we'll go back home.
Yes. And now Americans are coming to Africa.
Oh yeah.
And I think we're going to have more. This is not a political show, but I think Donald Trump just won.
Oh, I know.
I don't know what this means for the travel culture and everything, but we're about to find out from our guests. And I'm going to let her come in and introduce herself. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Nice to see you.
How y'all doing? Can y'all
We're
hear
good.
me?
Yeah,
Yes,
we can
we
hear you.
can.
We can hear you good. I know it's very early there where you are. Just introduce yourself first.
All right. No problem. My name is Kia Wakesho Simmons. I carry my Kenyan name that was given to me 13 years ago when I first started going to Kenya. I am from Charleston, South Carolina, of the Gullah Geechee culture. Shout out to the Gullah Geechee culture.
Yeah.
I am a mother, a entrepreneur. I started going to, as I said before, the continent about 13 years ago. I'm ex-military, but I also did about 7.5 years of civilian government contract abroad. I visited 45 countries in the world, and I've lived in 8 of them, including Kenya.
Wow.
I am the owner and the CEO of Traverse Culture. We are a travel concierge company that specializes in humanitarian work, relocation assistance, business development, real estate development, and now medical tourism. We are based out of the United States, but our international hub is in Nairobi, Kenya, where we have a brick and mortar, specifically in Adams Arcade area, and I have a team of between 6 to 12 employees there in Kenya.
Wow. A lot to unpack there. We're going to do that in the next hour or so. Where do we start? Why Kenya? How did you end up deciding, like, out of all the countries in Africa, you've lived in a couple of countries, why Kenya?
Right, everybody asks me that, especially my Kenyan family.
Yeah.
So, real simple, the people. The people. The first time that I landed in Kenya, because I actually went to Ethiopia first for my first country in
Africa.
the continent.
Okay.
Yeah, in Africa. And, at that time, as an African American, I mean, born and raised in America, and my entire lineage, at least 12 generations here in this country, you never really believed that you would be able to go to Africa, right? And so when I landed at Moi International Airport and I put my feet on the ground in Mombasa, that was the first that I went to, I was flabbergasted because we had been bamboozled, hoodwinked, and lied to because it was modern. People were so nice. This notion that Africans don't like African Americans went completely out the window as soon as I landed in Mombasa. And we landed at 1:30 a.m.
Okay.
Got off of the plane.
Yeah.
Went to Nakumart. I don't know if you guys remember when Nakumart existed before.
Yeah.
And bought a bottle of wine and went from the Nakumat straight to Bob's place. Anybody who
I
knows
know
that
Bob's place. If you've been to
Yeah.
Mombasa, yeah,
yes, that's
Yeah.
the first place you stop in Niali
yeah.
at Bob's place. And we had a ball. I'm up on the bar screaming, I'm in Africa
Yeah.
and having a good time.
Yeah.
And then that particular night, my adopted family, who my brother James Milawasi, who I worked with in Afghanistan, we stayed at his aunt house the first night. We
Mm-hmm.
walk in the house,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all don't get me in the comment section, but we were really shocked to see she had a flat screen TV, she had surround sound system, she had a microwave. It sounds crazy. It looked like anybody's aunt's house, but we're in Mombasa. And I mean, after that experience, just day one, it was just mind boggling and life changing. And from then, I fell in love with Kenya. Absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah, the media has really lied to a lot of people abroad, especially those who've never been to Africa, you know.
Because it shows like just one side of a
Yeah,
continent.
yeah.
I've heard you speaking about Afghanistan, and I feel like that is the same thing for me. I've been to Afghanistan on contract work, and that was the same feeling I got, because once you hear about a place and it's just far away, you never think of it. It's like in the moon, then something ends up happening and you're in that particular place. You touch down and you're like, okay, this is different. You get that feeling. And since you've been in Africa now, for Kenya for 13 years, right? How,
Yes.
you said you have a family? Do you have like real relatives, or how is that? Yeah,
Yeah.
these are people you
I
met.
don't
Uh-huh.
have. Yes, yes. So when I say I am African American, I'm for real African American. At least 12 generations from this country.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had my adopted family, James, who, like I said, we met in Afghanistan, and he was
Yeah.
actually
Okay.
the first person I ever met in my life. You know, Kenyans here in the States, even 13 years ago, was a small percentage of minority in
Yeah.
certain areas.
Yeah.
So you typically not going to run into a Kenyan. You
Kenyan.
typically going to run into a Nigerian, you know,
Yeah.
a Ghanaian,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But Kenyans I had never met. So, real funny story, real quick. When I got
Yeah.
there, after the first night, the second night, we checked into the Voyager, right?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And that morning, you know, the Voyager got at least 200 options of buffet for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yes.
And I wanted some French omelet. And I go up to the guy and I said, good morning. Can I have an omelet? And he said, yeah. He gives me the omelet back and he said, Akuna Matata. I was like, oh, you saw the Lion King too?
Yeah.
He looked at me like, no,
What do you mean?
I said, what? This entire time, I'm thinking it's a Disney movie and they made up these words. I didn't know the entire time this is a Kenyan folklore story
Yeah.
and they're speaking
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
movie. And I'm like, oh my God. You know? And so, yeah, that was just some of the experiences in my adopted family.
That's
Kind
amazing.
of walked me through the process. Yeah.
And how do you translate all this and your travel? Now you're in Kenya, you've loved the country. How do you go from that to actually saying, I'm going to move to Africa, I'm going to set up a business? Like, what inspired the move? Because many people visit and they love the country but still want to go back home. Why did you decide to move? Yeah.
It's a natural transition. I mean, at this point my entire life is in Kenya. Literally, I am currently here in the States on business to sell my home. And that's the only reason why I'm here. But other than that, my entire life is in Kenya. But over the course of the 13 years going back and forth and trying to figure out what niche market worked for me for business, trial and error, registering companies and it didn't work out and things of that nature. And about around 2018, I got it right. And from 2018 until now, you know, I've been going back to Kenya 2-3 times a year in the same year. And it's like, you know, at some point I'm going to have to just move once my son, you know, graduate high school, go off to college, which he did this year successfully. And we got to make this happen. So it was really a natural transition in terms of my life is pretty much in Kenya at this point.
You spoke about philanthropic work. Do you mind telling us more about that, please?
Absolutely. We have a program called Traverse Cares, where we do CSR work locally in each country that we visit. Now, we our main hub is Kenya, but we also do offer relocation services and travel services to Panama and Belize, where we work closely with the local government there, as well as we work with the local government or the city of Nairobi. In
All right.
Nairobi. So for Kenya, we have been working with the community of Kibera for the last 5 years. Now,
Yeah.
typically everybody say Kibera, Kibera, Kibera.
Yeah.
But the way that we work with Kibera is so different and unique in
Okay.
regards to the different elements of how we work with Kibera. We do not showcase Kibera in a way that people normally think
Yeah.
of it as
Yeah.
being one of the urban slums. No, we actually, the majority of my team members are from Kibera.
Okay.
My office is literally 5 minutes around the corner from Kibera, technically Kibera Toy Market and Adams Arcade
Yeah.
area. And we support a school, a primary school in the community called St. Martin's, that is owned by the community, ran by the community. And we're the only Black-owned company that support the school. We also have started working with the Nubian tribe of Kibra.
All right.
And we started about 4 years ago with them, where they created an entire naming ceremony for our guests when they come to Kenya to
Yeah.
be renamed
Yeah.
Again.
by
Uh-huh.
people, right? So another way to impact the community
Yeah.
as well. And also started a internship program where we have the youth, Gen Z. Shout out to Gen Z.
Yeah. Shout out to the Gen Zs in Kenya.
Yeah. I'm a millennial, so shout
Yeah.
out to them. Where we have also engaged them as well from the community of Kibera and abroad.
Wow. So you've moved to Kenya, or you visited Kenya, decided I'm gonna move. You know, there's still there's a divide still where you decide this is also gonna be a business. I've tried a lot of things. You know, were you not even afraid? How is it like the business environment? You know, compared to where you're from? How did you navigate all that to even establishing Traverse Culture?
No, I didn't have a problem. I wasn't
Yeah.
worried at all. You know, for real, to keep it 100 or above. I felt like Kenya got their ish together more than we have it here. I've learned
Really?
so much in terms of the way you guys do business. You know, it's more of a conservative business culture in
Yeah.
Kenya.
Yeah.
Becoming a bit more liberal now, you know, in terms of the business culture. Because I mean, I got tattoos and all type of stuff, and I go into the meeting with my nose ring, my tattoos, and
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any heavy pushback. But we all know Kenyans ain't gonna really tell you up front either.
Yeah.
But you know, they're gonna be polite to you. But in
Yeah.
terms of ease of doing business, out of the 13 years and the consecutive 6 years of doing business in that country, it's been quite easy. I can't really say that I've had any major hiccups.
All right. And I'm believing like you're traveling a lot, and that's why you end up doing the travel company.
Travel.
Or
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
tours, yeah.
this is your
I'm-
passion. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a travel enthusiast. I mean, forget about it. Travel is my life. It changes your thought process. It teaches you who you are as a person. And so since I've traveled to 45 countries in the world, I'm like, why not offer at least a portion of that to people
yeah.
who don't think that they have that type of opportunity in
Yeah.
the way that I travel. So that's kind of how that came about, because I love traveling.
All right. So how would you say then your traveling has informed your business? Because you've been to a lot of places. I'm guessing you're also encouraging, I don't know, I'm just guessing, you're maybe bringing in more people to Kenya than to maybe other parts where you have, you know, or you have partnerships and stuff. How has your personal travel informed your business?
Ooh, that's a good question. So my personal travel compared with my military background and working abroad as a contractor really helped me because my background is logistics and HR.
Yeah.
So with the both of those things, the HR piece come in with customer service. But Kenya taught me a lot about customer service because Kenyans have some of the best customer service I've seen in the world. So that really helped me in the hospitality industry in Kenya is very strong, and Kenyans take that very serious. And so I learned a lot from that. And then the logistics, moving people, right? Also coincide with what we do as a company. So up until to date, we have brought over 200 African Americans to Kenya over the last 6 years. And so, yeah, my personal travel has helped with the way that I saw the vision of the company. What I wanted to do was be able to offer humanitarian efforts built into the itinerary, investment opportunities built into the itinerary, relocation opportunities built into the itinerary, along with cultural immersion of the people. We do not promote you going 20 hours, especially from the West, all the way to Kenya to go look at some animals for 3-4 days. We're not finna do that. We come into the people, the history, the culture, the language, the food, the history of the people. And so by me being a historian, an enthusiast of us as a people globally, that's what really informed me to put together a product that is authentic, that is immersive, and has integrity to give you the best experience right there in Kenya.
Kia, having chosen Kenya, what opportunities or challenges do the Americans or the African Americans, face when they're relocating to Kenya?
Ooh, that's a good one. So, because we do a very, very thorough job, we have a 120-day relocation integration program that we offer to our clients. And in fact, my team just relocated a family from Nigeria and the States to Kenya. And really, a lot of people, it's a culture shock. When you get to Kenya and you're used to being here in the States, you're not used to seeing everything being black.
That's very important to note. That's very important.
That was my culture shock. I was like, hold on. Everybody is black.
Everyone looks like me.
Is black. The government is black. Everybody was black. And you pick and choose whether you're going to have to do business with a Mzungu. Because we usually here in the States or in the UK or anywhere else, they're everywhere. But in Kenya, I don't have to ask whether a Mzungu own that. You automatically know.
Someone Kenyan owns that.
So that's one of the things that is the most attractive right now about Kenya in terms of specifically African Americans relocated, but right now everybody's relocating to Kenya because it's just where it's at right now. So I think some of the challenges is the culture shock, getting used to the system. The language is not too bad because everybody speaks English, so that kind of spoil us from not learning Swahili. And it's pretty much westernized enough. That's another reason why it's attractive, where you get the best of both worlds, especially being in Nairobi. You get Kenya, but you get Western kind of modern living too. So it almost feel like, okay, I'm home.
I've seen a lot of even it's called what celebrities. I've seen Kellis. I think she's called Kellis. She's a musician from the US who was in Rwanda. Kellis, a lot of people are now moving. What do you think is the reason that this is globally happening right now at this time? Do you think the political conditions in the US are also affecting it? Like right now, what has just happened with the win by Trump, do you think that will affect your business as well?
He won. I didn't even pay attention to I didn't even want to.
Oh, sorry. I'm telling.
It's quite funny.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Well, that was gonna happen. But yeah, so this is I didn't know Trump. That just
Yeah, yeah. The
I didn't
spoiler. Sorry,
Sorry.
sorry to shock you so
It's
early.
okay. Everybody, I literally intentionally ignored it because I
Yeah.
just wanted to wake up to it later and we'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
But okay, so Trump has won. Ooh,
So I'm
that's
sure that
gonna
that has
change.
some repercussions to so many things.
We're gonna have all type of people relocating at this point.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Oh, good for business.
it's very good for business.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, yeah, the political climate is definitely going to play a big part on. We'll see a lot of people relocating. Gosh, I didn't know that man won
Yeah.
to Kenya, but globally, Kenya has positioned itself as one of the big players globally right now. It's a force to be reckoned with. Kenya has one of the strongest currencies on the
Yeah.
continent. The GDP has
Yeah.
grown tremendously. The foreign investment climate in Kenya, specifically Nairobi, is super attractive with the UN headquarters moving
Yeah.
to Westlands
Yeah.
specifically. I mean, it's just a really good place to be in. And shout out to Kenya. I know it has its issues. I know that any country can grow, but in terms of a developing country for Africa right now, Kenya's where it's at.
All right. A lot of people are going to Ghana and the West, right? What would you say is the difference between, because now you're looking at this from an outsider, someone born in a different place, and now having the experience of being in Africa, comparing different places in Africa. What do you think is influencing like people to move to Ghana? Mostly it's Ghana, Nigeria, and East Africa. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say a year ago, this topic would have been specifically about Ghana, but
Yeah.
this past year, man, Kenya is on everybody's tongue.
Yeah.
Everybody's tongue.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kenya is about to take over in regards to being more attractive for African Americans, specifically moving to the continent because the infrastructure is just better. No shade to Ghana. Shout out to my Ghanaian sisters and brothers and my African American sisters and brothers who are moving to Ghana. But if we compare the two in terms of infrastructure, economy, modern living, ease of doing business, I mean, forget about it. Kenya is light years ahead of Ghana, and I believe this year, now that Trump has won, Kenya is about to knock this thing
It's about
out. Oh yeah.
In terms of real estate, how does your company assist clients in understanding and navigating, through the property industry in Kenya?
Absolutely. So we have an in-house program through the relocation integration program, and we relocate anybody anywhere from around the world. So if you're from the UK, if you're from Canada, if you're from the United States, if you're from Germany, whatever, we relocate you. We just specialize in the States because I'm American, right? It's just
Yeah.
So, but through that program, we do two things. We have transitional housing and permanent housing.
Okay.
With transitional housing, we find you pretty much transitional rental space for the first 30 to 60 days while you're in the country.
Yeah.
Why we do that? We don't ever want to have somebody relocate to Kenya and put them in permanent housing. One, you're there on a tourist visa, so we ain't going to be breaking these people laws. We're going to make sure that we get on a permanent visa and you actually qualify for it, because relocating is a luxury.
Yeah.
It's not something you just pick up and do because you're trying to run away from the States or wherever else, right? You're just going to bring that same mentality to Kenya. So the first thing is education on why you're relocating. Then once we get you on the ground, we integrate you into the society through the justice system, the healthcare system, social awareness, political climate, language, food, driver's courses. We register you to the embassy, so on and so forth. So by the time we get to permanent housing, you then know exactly what it is that you're looking for. Rather, you want to then move from the transitional to permanent housing and continue to rent and look, or you want to purchase. And so we also have our in-house real estate partnership, and we also do um, a real estate development ourselves.
All right.
And so, yes, so we also give you those choices, whether you want to purchase there, whether you want to be in Kilimani, Leventon, Karen,
Yeah.
Bamboo, wherever,
Yeah.
um, or you want to build, we assist you around that process and walk you through it while you're there in Kenya.
Where are you developing yourself?
Yeah, I saw you somewhere on
Yeah.
online. You were walking. I think it's a place you guys have bought, and you're trying to develop. Yeah.
Yes, we were are developing. Excuse me. I love Thika, by the way.
Yeah.
Shout out to Thika Town.
Yeah.
Dope. Yeah, so we're going to be developing in Thika sometime next year.
All right.
And so it's going to be a small development. Right now, we're going to be building luxury homes. We already have 2 renderings available. We'll be relaunching next year just because some of the political climate changed over the last year, and
Yeah.
we didn't want to take no chances.
Yeah.
So we kind of put it on pause and relaunching it again next year. But yeah, we're going to be in the Thika area.
All right. All right. And who are your real estate partners in Kenya at the moment?
I have 2 Kenyan partners. My architect and engineer is Kenyan. Shout out to Abuya.
What's up?
Yes. And then my lawyer is a part of the process as well. We have some other people. I don't want to put too much information about them out there, but my partners are Kenyans, and we'll be bringing on some American partners, but the majority of the team are my Kenyan counterparts.
So I'm a guy. I'm not. Let's say I'm not from Kenya. I'm just a guy in the UK looking to move to Africa. What do you tell me, or what would you like convince me? Why should I even do this? What is better on that side that is not up here? Because everyone thinks or says the American dream, or come to Europe, you've made it. So why even move to Africa? What would you tell somebody? And
Yeah, man, it's no such thing as the American dream anymore. You have the Kenyan dream.
Yeah.
At this point, I actually have a video on YouTube that says the American dream in Kenya, and everybody was coming for me in the comment like, "It's time to relax."
Yeah.
But what we typically we have a consultation through our relocation program, and typically what I tell a client is, first off, visit. I wouldn't tell you to pick up and relocate to no country in the world without visiting. And because you do have a blue passport, it's easy for you to go to most of the countries around the world, at least up until now. We don't know what that's going to look like now that this guy has won. But the first thing I would say, visit, join us in Kenya. We have a 7-day and a 12-day itinerary. The 7-day is a 2-city tour to Nairobi and Mombasa. The 12-day is a 6-city tour to Nairobi, Mombasa, Diani, Thika, Nanyuki, and Thompson Falls area. And so you get to see a vast amount of Kenya before you make that move. But if you are someone, which we've had people say, I don't need to visit, I want to move, let's get it done.
Yeah.
I ain't got to convince you. You already made your mind up. Let's just see, can you, one, afford to move to Kenya? Now, let's keep it a buck. Nairobi, while you will be able to cut your cost, it is not as cheap as you think it is.
We actually think it's expensive here because we go home and we're like, oh, you're stealing from me.
It's a little expensive, especially in your high-end areas like your Kilimani, Westlands, Leventon, Kileleshwa, Karen, of course, Runda. Those areas, you're gonna, you're paying a pretty penny, but you're still cutting your costs by living here in the States. Forget it, right? You're getting more for your money there. In regards to, say, for instance, one of the videos I have on YouTube. We relocated a family of 5 to Kenya and Runda, and their townhomes. I mean, beautiful townhomes. And a 2-bedroom starting at $1,000. Unfurnished 2-bedroom. I think it's almost square feet. Forget it. You can't find nothing in the
That.
state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowhere
Yeah.
in a capital city like Nairobi,
No.
Nowhere.
you just can't.
Yeah.
So you still cut your costs. You still get a better quality of life. It's safer.
Yeah.
The food is better. The
Mm-hmm.
people are nicer.
Oh
The
yeah.
environment is cleaner.
The
I mean,
weather.
the weather is beautiful.
Oh
I mean, come
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Ah,
And
nakupenda Kenya, man.
oh. And who are your target market in terms of the people you are trying to relocate to Kenya? Is it people who want to retire? Is it expatriates? People maybe
Yeah.
who want to get jobs, or do they get jobs in America then they are relocated?
Are you getting younger people? Are it
Yeah.
people in their midlife?
Yeah.
Are they people
Yeah.
coming to work there?
Most of the people we've been relocating are young,
Mhm.
in their early 30s.
All right.
Some of them are already retired because they're ex-military. So shout out to our veterans. I'm a veteran.
Yeah.
Those are the easier people to work with because, to truth be told, Kenya immigration laws are very limited. So that's the downside.
Mhm.
We're
Alright.
trying to relocate somebody to Kenya,
Yeah.
because if you don't come through investment, they haven't quite dropped the digital nomad permit yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you don't have kids that's going to school and using a school pass to maybe get there, it's kind of limited. But we have had young people who are retired moving to Kenya through us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We target anyone who wants to move to Kenya. We got you as long as you qualify for the
Yeah.
necessary permit, as long as you can economically live there. We will not relocate you if you don't have at least 1 to 2 forms of income
Yeah.
while
Okay.
living in Kenya. And I also like to know what your motivation is. If you are running from America, you've got to change your mindset, because you're going to take that same mindset to Kenya,
Yeah.
and you're not going to like it.
Now you have a lot. There's a lot to unpack. I'm actually wanted to ask you, how do you run all these things? Because here there's tours, there's relocating. I can imagine a lot of things are happening at the same time in different locations. You're still in property, but you did HR, so I'm guessing you did actually hire great people. How easy was it actually to find professionals in Kenya? You know, people might want to know that. Can I come there, set up a business? Will I get the people to hire? You know, if they think maybe people are still living on trees, they might be thinking, I can get people to hire. Maybe I need to bring Americans to hire. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. And so shout out to my team, Traverse Culture Africa out there. I mean, I love them. They are the best team in the whole of Kenya. I don't care what nobody say. I got the best team, and I've been blessed. For real. It's hard to find good people who are going to be trustworthy. I got to keep
Yeah.
it up on that.
Yeah.
That's anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it was quite easy. I got blessed with my team. That's not necessarily always the case. That's why we offer business development services, so we can assist you with the hiring process and so on and so forth, if you do want to open a business in Kenya. But it's possible. You can open a business, you can hire. Now, you would have to have a permit to work for your local company. So an investor's a permit, which requires $100K investment. Or you can open up a separate entity and hire people to work for the company, and you can supervise it without working for the company. There's different ways that you can go around it legally
Yeah.
in Kenya, but it's a possibility for those who are looking to move. For myself, my team is all women.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah.
That's, shout out to you. That's amazing.
And we didn't do that on purpose.
Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah, my first team was all men,
Uh-huh.
and as you can see, I got all women now. And we look to hire some men the top of this year, the top of next year for sure. But what I will say about hiring local Kenyans for African Americans who are relocating or offering this service, because at this point I'm not the only one offering this service now. It's becoming a trend.
Yeah.
If you are not making this beneficial for Kenyans, you are already starting wrong.
That's the wrong foot. Yeah.
That is the wrong foot, and I'm seeing that happening.
Okay.
What I noticed when I first moved there, I am American, so I go into a country as a capitalist. Kenyans or Africans are not capitalists, they're socialists.
Yes.
And so it is about us, we,
Yeah.
not the individual.
Yeah.
And so as I've been doing business in Kenya, I realized that I was going the wrong way about it. And that I was only thinking about African Americans moving to these people country
Yeah.
and not thinking about the local Kenyans and how this affect them and having them participate in this.
In this. Yeah.
And so if you are looking to do business in Kenya, if you are looking to relocate people to Kenya and start this journey, if you are not engaging local Kenyans, if you are not hiring local Kenyans, you are wrong and it is not going to work for you, period.
Amazing.
For some of us may have heard the term medical tourism for the first time. What does it entail and what, inspired you to do that?
I'm excited about medical tourism.
Yeah.
Especially inbound to Kenya.
Yeah.
I've been doing medical tourism maybe for the last 13 years, but I didn't know I was doing it.
Yeah.
I got my braces done in Dubai. I've got other dental care done in Thailand, in Serbia, in Kuwait, in Belize. And I didn't know that was medical tourism. All I knew was I'm going to this other country and I know it's cheaper for me to just pay out.
Fix my teeth there. Yeah.
Than to try to get it done here in the States. I mean, the deductible by itself is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So when I went to Kenya, I actually went to the dentist for the first time and I got a couple fill-ins and a root canal at that time for $179.
Yep.
Can you? What is that in shillings? That's about 20K.
Yeah.
About 25K.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't get a root canal nowhere in this planet for no 179.
Yeah.
And then walk into the dentist's office the same
day and get it done.
Oh yeah.
Right,
We face the same problems here. Yeah.
Right. The light bulb go off. Oh my goodness. And the facilities is state of the art.
Yeah.
Yes.
These people are well trained.
Yeah.
The customer service absolutely amazing. Wait a minute. Why don't we offer this through our relocation program first?
Yeah.
Because there's three things you look for when you're relocated to a country. Not so much when you're younger because you think you're invincible, but housing, security, healthcare.
Healthcare.
That's true.
You gotta have it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not paying attention to that healthcare piece. It is moving. And then you get sick. You don't know where to go, what to do, what hospitals, what, you know what I mean? How much does it cost, right? And so we implemented in our relocation program back in 2022. We saw that it was a success. And now we upgraded, excuse me, this year to implement it as a product on its own, whereby even if you're not relocating to Kenya and you are interested in getting a procedure done in Kenya, like a knee replacement,
Okay.
we can assist you from A, I'll say it like my Kenyans, to Z. Okay, and we take care of the full concierge service for you. We also have 3 hospitals in which we are partnered with to give you competitive pricing, such as the Nairobi Hospital. Shout out to Nairobi Hospital. Aga Khan, shout out to Aga Khan. And we're working with AAR, which is a newer hospital, about 3 years old off of Kamburu Road. And we offer you competitive prices, like a knee surgery in Kenya, just the surgery itself. It will run you around $3,500 to $4,500
Wow.
versus $30,000
Dollars in the US.
Yes.
That is
So we
crazy.
do the math. We we saved you 40 to 70% of what you would pay in the US for the surgery. Now watch this. We also add the concierge service. We also add your accommodation your airport pickup drop off, specialist to specialist meetings, so pre-op and post-op care, and the communication between the doctor in the States and the doctor in Kenya. Your meals, your transportation, translator, everything you need to be able to come to Kenya and get your surgery done. Now, what makes this even more attractive is that these organizations are JCI accredited, which is one of the highest accreditation out of the U.S. that's recommended globally. So they have state-of-the-art facilities that are almost 2 times better than most of the facilities you see here in America.
I'm shocked. I'm surprised, because in America, one of the things that is spoken about is healthcare. Everybody not being able to be under a cover, is it insurance cover and stuff? So you're telling people that in Kenya, so if someone relocates actually and is now living there, they will be able to afford insurance and get great hospitals in Nairobi, for example.
Yes, we partner with 3 local insurance companies there in Kenya. One of us is CIC. That's the one I can remember off the top of my head. And so, like your monthly, we got a family of 5, and the entire insurance bill for a family of 5 with up to $3 million in medical costs. There's no surgery in Kenya that's going to cost over $3 million. It's not. Right? So for the premium package that she has, I think she went with CIC. I can't remember. It's only $1,900 for 5 people.
Is that per month?
That's for the whole year.
Wow.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
You can pay that. You pay that out of pocket for the whole year.
So wait, so while you're living abroad, you can actually pay for an insurance cover that covers you in Kenya?
No. This is local Kenyan insurance.
Yes.
When we relocate them. Now, you're talking about if you come here. There are some insurance companies that may cover your procedures in Kenya, like Cigna.
Okay.
All right.
Kenya accepts Cigna. But if you're, say, for instance, you're self-insured, and you have an account like a HSA account with your employer. This is monies that are already put away for healthcare or anything anyway. Most people don't even use or forget they have with their employers. You can take the money out of that
and use it
pay for your procedure.
Wow.
Instead of paying the high deductible here, waiting 6 months to get the surgery done, being put on opioids, which makes the situation worse. Horrible customer service. I mean, malpractice is crazy here. That's why it's so expensive. It's just so many things that you can avoid by tapping into medical tourism. Specifically for Kenya. Kenya is the number 2 best medical healthcare in all of Africa.
In Africa,
South Africa is number 1. I have a video on Instagram of me walking through the Nairobi hospital, through one of the deluxe suites in the presidential suites. And it looks like a 5-star
hotel.
Okay? You can't even have access to anything like that in the States. Where you can go to Kenya and say, for instance, you come through us and you want to get a knee surgery, and you say, I want to upgrade to the VIP package, and I want to do the presidential suite. The presidential suite only run $467 a night. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Having an office space, freaking
I think I've seen it. It looks like literally a hotel. It doesn't look like it's in a hospital.
$467 a night? Are you kidding me? You can pay that out of pocket or take that out of your HSA or even have your insurance cover something like that. It's amazing.
There's a lot to unpack, and now that's medical tourism. What about the offerings you have, which I thought was so amazing? That first of all, I heard you say in an interview somewhere that you've actually not gone to as many states in the US as you have traveled in countries around the world. That is something that's very unique, because even for myself as a Kenyan, I haven't gone to all parts of Kenya or done some things that I've seen on your tour itinerary, and I thought that was really amazing that it's so immersive. Like, I'm a Kenyan, but I would want to come and go and, you know, pay for one thing or pay for something that is a package that takes you through all these things, and you don't have to pay this person, arrange this, sleep here, arrange all this. It's just done in one package, and you pay once. That's amazing.
Yes.
Could you take us through some of those packages you have, where you go, things people get to do?
Yes, absolutely. We actually had our first Kenyan who live in Kenya paid to come on our tour in 2022 locally.
Yeah.
And he loved it so much he joined us the second year. And he lives in Kenya. Shout out to Mr. Kamwana.
Mr. Kamwana.
Love him. Yeah. So we have 2 packages that we offer to Kenya.
Yeah.
We also offer customized packages, so you can customize the tour to your need as well. And we also do corporate travel, so business travel as well.
Yeah.
But let me just go to the tourist. We have a 7-day and a 12-day all-inclusive itinerary, where we offer your international flight, your domestic flight in country, all of your accommodation. We only do 4-star, 5-star hotels in Kenya because we bougie. All right, all of your transportation, 3 meals a day, your visa, your immigration, all of your excursion fees, and all of the service fees is already included. So you only pay one time. There are no hidden fees. Once you pay, all you got to do is show up. Because by the time you land in Kenya, our team is right there at JKI to greet you, and from that point on, we take care of you fully.
Because those are some of the things we take for granted as Kenyans living in Kenya. So when I used to live in Kenya, I'm like, oh, Masai Mara is just there. I've never gone. Amboseli is just there. You know, Mombasa. You know,
you've never done this stuff.
Then when you come abroad, you're like, everybody's like, oh, have you been to the safari? So now when I go back home, I make sure I have to go somewhere.
And
so
even the convenience, you know, while you're here, you're thinking of how many things you have to deal with to just organize, go home and enjoy yourself. If there's one place you can just go to and you're told for this whole week, activities are planned and all this is done for you, that would be such an amazing thing.
Yeah, because when you go home, sometimes you're like, you just came, you went to Africa for a holiday. Then when you get there, it's like, oh my God, I have to organize this and this and this. By the time you're coming back, you're actually more tired. So that's a really good thing. Yeah.
Yes, we love it. We normally do the national park, but we get that. We get something in there for you in terms of the safari.
So what other programs do you have within Traverse Culture for Americans and for people moving back to Africa, to Kenya?
So again, we have the humanitarian portion. Like if you wanted to donate to any of the communities that we support in Kenya, you can go to our website under Traverse Culture Cares and donate through our CSR work. Then we have the business development. If you are interested in open up a business in Kenya, incorporating, getting your KRA PIN, open up a bank account, finding a virtual office or a actual physical office, hiring, logistics, network, government to government networking, all of those things, we offer that through our business hub. Then we have our relocation services. Again, we offer that 120-day relocation integration program. Then we have the travel services that we offer. Then we also have the medical tourism that we offer if you're interested in getting in procedures or any dental work while you're either traveling with us or you're relocating with us or you simply want to come for medical reasons only. We offer that medical tourism piece. And lastly, real estate and real estate development as well.
All right.
And we were speaking, and you said you mentioned something about even driving. Like you go down to specific activities that someone will have to actually do. I just want to find out, first of all, how crazy is the driving in for you, especially how crazy is it driving in Nairobi or surviving the Nairobi roads? Because I know matatus and all that, our public transport is just another situation. How has that been for you personally?
Videos?
I've seen your videos trying to drive, and you were talking about it and said, "Oh, I'll show people how to do this. This is a different thing here."
Yes. Yes, I drive in them Nairobi streets and I drive crazy just like a Kenyan.
Oh,
I
yeah.
become a Kenyan in
Oh,
a
mhm.
You cut me off, I cut you
I-
off.
You know,
I actually drive really, really good.
Yeah.
But what I noticed was, in order, especially if you are moving to a country, I think the best way to get to learn the country is driving.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Drive throughout the country, right? It becomes a bit more intimate, right? But driving in Nairobi is, you got to know how to drive. You got to know how to drive. So we want you driving legally in the country. We want you in compliance with the Kenyan law, period. Whether
Yeah.
it's immigration, whether it's your driver's license, whatever it is, we want people to do it the right way the first time. So yes, we offer driver's courses. I actually had somebody hit me up and said they just moved, as an American, moved from Mombasa to Nairobi, and they're ready to buy a car. And if we offer driver's lessons and car, help them to buy a car in Nairobi, and we're like, yeah, we got partners for rental cars and purchasing a car there. And she was just like super excited. But that is something that this is what she mentioned. She said that the paying for Uber started to add up. And I kept telling people, I said,
It's gonna get
y'all think I'm
expensive, yeah.
joking? It's going to get expensive. You better off with buying a car, or renting a car, or even getting a car hire. If you can put $150, $200 a month in your budget, you just hire somebody to drive you around.
Yeah.
But paying for Uber every day, forget it. That gets expensive.
Very,
Yes,
very,
expensive.
very. Yeah.
Also convenience. You might be getting somewhere late. You want to get somewhere early.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I like to get up and go. I'll jump on the highway, and don't let me get on Thika Road. I get on Thika Road.
The highway.
And Thika Road has no
Yeah.
super highway. Like not super highway. What is the one in Kitengela? There's a new road where you pay and you just go.
Oh, the toll, the one with tolls and stuff.
Yeah, the super highway. Yeah. So in Kenya, you just have to wake up early.
And people
Just
think
vibe.
probably that Kenya doesn't have infrastructure, or Africa in general doesn't have infrastructure. I remember when Trevor Noah was getting onto the Today's Show, or whatever show they were on, and they played a game of Tell Me Where This Is, and they were showing like photos of highways in the US or highways in Africa, and kind of it was almost the same, or somewhere the US looked a little bit lower than what,
Yep.
and I think that's because in Africa, countries are developing, so stuff is much
are.
newer.
Yeah.
They can do better roads or better buildings. And even in Scotland, where we stay, a lot of these things were built like ages and ages ago. The infrastructure was just made already. Yeah.
Yes.
In terms of investment opportunities, amongst your clients or people who are relocating from the US to Kenya, what is the most popular one?
Real estate.
Yeah. All right.
That's the first thing anybody in the world know. If you want real ownership, you buy land. You buy real estate.
Yeah.
So that's the popular.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful culture where you just buy your land and then build within a year. You build up your beautiful home. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. For us, having access to freehold land, not freehold land. Excuse me, leasehold land.
Leasehold. Yeah, leasehold.
It's not freehold for us. But having access to that leasehold land and being able to purchase it and say I actually own the land is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, my computer just went dead, so I hope I don't.
No
Wow.
worries, you can put it on charge. We're going to take a 10-minute break to have some advertisements, and then we'll come back to you. Okay?
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
That was good.
Ayo, drums.
You are listening to Jambo Radio across Scotland. This is Jambo Radio News.
Latest news across Scotland. This is Jambo Radio. 2 Renfrewshire primary schools have been recognised for their work to support care-experienced children and their families. Kirkland Nuke Primary School in Renfrew won the Positive Partnership Award for their work with One Ren and Active Schools on physical exercise for care-experienced pupils. St Peter's Primary in Paisley won the Changing the Narrative Award for using positive language about experiences. A man has been arrested and charged in connection with the murder of Sandy Butler, aged 40, who was found seriously injured on St Mungo's Avenue on Tuesday the 29th of October. She was pronounced dead a short time later. Court staff fear violent attacks if a plan by Police Scotland to remove officers from courtrooms goes ahead. One court worker said they have seen dozens of assaults in the last year inside the court building. There has been 20 assaults in the last year, with 10 since April this year. The savings plan could see 150 officers removed from courts across the country and put on frontline policing duties. Kemi Badenoch has defeated Robert Jenrick to become the new leader of the Conservative Party. She has vowed to reset the party's thinking and politics after its catastrophic election defeat in the summer. The former business secretary won 57% of the votes, a decisive victory against her rival Robert Jenrick, the ex-minister. And now for African news. 29 children could face a death penalty in Nigeria for participating in a protest against the country's record cost of living crisis. 4 of them collapsed in court due to exhaustion before they could enter a plea. 76 protesters were charged with 10 felony counts, including treason, destruction of property, public disturbances, and mutiny. The minors were aged between 14 to 17 years old. And that's the latest from Jambo Newsroom. I'm Andrew Biney.
Need security? Call Alpha One Plus Limited, a strategic security resourcing platform that connects you with licensed security personnel. We cater for our clients' security needs, from manned guarding, door supervision, event security, all the way up to close personal protection. Alpha One Plus Limited, your one-stop security solution. Call now at 44 074 2526 7909 or send us an email on info@alphaoneplus.com.
Meet Sophie and Craig, stepping up to tackle climate change by car sharing to work.
Also, we're doing it to keep costs down.
Half the fuel means half the cash.
A dynamic duo if ever I saw one.
Can you see a parking space?
Together, they're helping to drive down Scotland's transport emissions.
Plus, Sophie's got great chat.
Sure. Do it for yourself and our planet. Search Let's Do Net Zero to learn more.
Established in 2006 as one of Glasgow's original mobile massage therapists, we deliver high-quality treatments with the ambition to forge permanent relations with clientele. We specialise in on-site massage, a type of treatment that has been specifically designed to complement the convenience and availability of massage at work. It is performed with the use of a specialist mobile chair, without the use of oils or the need to remove clothing. At Massage and Glow, we believe that massage should be a part of your everyday lifestyle. Regular massage not only relieves stress and tension, but also stimulates blood circulation, can help with pain management, and promotes good mental health. A must for your busy schedule. Various holistic therapies available. Contact us now on 07530 905 152 for your mobile massage therapist.
Across the World Wide Web, on your mobile devices, on social media platforms, this is Jambo Radio! www.jamboradio.co.uk. We are multilingual. We are conversational in the languages you best understand. We are Jambo Radio! Jambo Radio, inspiring transformation.
And we are back. Welcome back to the Property and Investment Show. My name is Anthony. I'm a social entrepreneur, and my co-host
Violet Wambui, property consultant.
You're listening to us on Jambo Radio. The number to call into studio is 0141-530-2787. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Today we are speaking to Kia Simmons, and she is the CEO and founder of Traverse Culture. We've spoken a lot about what she does, and it's a lot to cover as well. I think it's one of the most amazing companies I've heard of doing this. A bunch of them are coming up, but she's on her game, and there's a lot she's doing. We're going to speak to her again and get to know more about her experience. So for you, specifically for you, because you're encouraging people who want to actually relocate, how has business been setting up from scratch till date? How easy is it to do business in Kenya? What have been the challenges of actually, as a foreigner, learning? You had to maybe do it yourself. You're helping people so that they don't have to go through everything you went through. How has it been in terms of business?
In terms of business, it's been a journey. I'm not even going to lie. In terms of entrepreneurship is one of the hardest things anybody could do. There's days where I do not like being an entrepreneur. So it doesn't matter if I'm doing business in Kenya or not. It just, you when you're financing your own business, when you're doing your own promotion, when you're doing your own management, when you are the CEO, an employee, the founder, that's a lot. But in terms of doing business in Kenya, again, it's been quite easy for me in terms of incorporating my company. I got some really good people. My lawyer is one of the best lawyers in Kenya. Shout out to Victor Siringo. Siringo. Right. Yes. And he's been with me for about 5 years. And so he does all of the paperwork in the background in terms of incorporation, KRA, and things like that for our clients. So that was kind of easy. Even when I had to transition, I had to rebrand last year from my first brand, Worldviews, over to Traverse Culture. And that was kind of easy. Now, there is kind of an issue when you want to transfer someone business over from us to them, BRS kind of gave us some pushback, and it took like 8 months. Okay, so I would say the difficulties with doing business in Kenya, to keep it real, is people are really Hakuna Matata. Like they're gonna take their time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's a cultural shock and difference for Americans or Western people, period. Because for us, everything is go, go, go. Let's like,
Exactly.
why can't you just get this done now?
Yeah.
Like, why are you taking 100 years to get it done?
Yeah.
That's gonna frustrate you. That is gonna frustrate you. But you got to understand the business culture. Another thing I learned was Kenyans don't respect aggressive behavior. That's actually the opposite.
All right.
You know, in the West, being aggressive, that's me showing you my dedication, how much I really want this to be done. And Kenya, like, no, why you want to rush?
Yeah.
I'm a little leery of you because now you're so aggressive and you're rushing. Now, that was one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn that really frustrated me a lot. Because, again, my military background is like, I don't want to hear no excuses that you couldn't get it done. Just get it done. You know what I mean? And Kenya is like, hey, you want my time. So when I get it done is when I get it done. And he like, me. But so that right there for me was a bit difficult. But once you're able to kind of start integrating and understand how to navigate it, how again that you really can't go in there with your capitalist mindset. I mean, if you do, you need to make it beneficial for Kenyans as well. And that's also going to work for you in terms of doing business. But those are probably a few of the things that were very frustrating for me in the beginning.
There's this thing we say, especially as Kenyans, I don't know if you've heard, but I think it's the Kenyans who are living abroad. We always say like, oh, if I had enough money, there's nowhere I'd rather be except home. And here now you're turning this thing around now. People you're asking people to go back home. What are you giving them, like, because maybe I'm not sure, like, you cannot get there and start doing property and you're already like gaining customers and you're buying this and that. What are you telling the Americans who are moving there about opportunities? Are they able to come and actually be able to maybe work or do business? What are they doing? Are they just coming to chill because they have investments, or how is that?
Most Americans are going to invest. You're not going to want to go to Kenya and work. It's just going to piss you off because the money. And we don't want to promote Americans coming to Kenya and taking Kenyan jobs. What we don't want to do is create a xenophobia, which is a real thing. And we want to respect the economy, right? There are Kenyans who are struggling to get jobs now. So what we promote is creating opportunities for Kenyans and yourself through investment and opening up a business. But you, again, to your point, you can't just all of a sudden just move and then my business is going to sell off, or I'm going to be able to build a house in 2 months and rent it out, or I'm going to be able to do. That's not reality. So we advise most of our Americans who are moving, which we've been lucky, we've been having retirees, so they can take their time. They got coming in, things like that. But if you're not retired and you're looking to relocate, you have to have some type of form of capital, income. If you watch Nomad Capitalist, who I really really love his content, you have to have a plan, a business plan. You need to do a feasibility study. You need to do a risk assessment. You need to make sure that you have the capital to invest into this business. You need to be able to get a permit, an investor's permit and certificate to do business in Kenya. I mean, there's a process to go into this. And so we advise you, before you make this decision, we relocate you, that once you have all these things in order, let's relocate you and we can hit the ground running. But we've already did a feasibility study. That's the biggest thing on what you're trying to bring to Kenya, because you may be going into an industry that's oversaturated and you need to know who you're competing with. So
What are the common misconceptions about property acquisition in Kenya, especially among the foreigners?
Yes. So typically, foreigners think that they can buy freehold land.
Yeah.
They don't understand the difference between freehold and leasehold.
And leasehold, yeah.
Acquisition.
Yeah.
They don't
What's the difference, if
understand-
we could just put it out there?
that's-
Maybe there's someone listening and they actually don't know as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
freehold land would be more of community land that's owned by maybe a village, a family, community that are not that's not necessarily taxed by the government. And an outsider cannot have access to freehold land. You must be Kenyan.
Yeah.
Or within that community, because some Kenyans can't even have access to that particular freehold land if it's in a community or village or a family. But leasehold land, anyone can own, even Kenyans, which is typically synonymous with being taxed by the government and governed by the government. And so even Kenyans own leasehold land in Kenya. So it's not just for foreigners.
Yeah.
It's just really, it's taxed land by the government. So those are the two things. Yes.
Any other
Did I-
the places where you ask people to buy, we've spoke about Thika, where you are doing a development. How deep into Kenya have you gone, and do you advise people, like, you could live in Kenya and live in a rural area and you'll still be okay? There's amenities, there's land, it might be cheaper, it might be better, maybe there's better schools, because there's a lot of international schools in Kenya as well. So yeah.
We actually, the family that we relocated October the 5th from Nigeria to Kenya had two daughters. We actually will be posting that testimony in 2 days on our YouTube. So you all will get to hear their testimony of being relocated. The guy is American and the wife is Nigerian. So it's quite interesting. So we were able to get the kids in school. And Kenya has two systems, the CBC system and the international system. And we put them in a private school. I'm going to get to the answer.
No worries. Yeah, take your time. Yeah.
But we put them in the private school, and just the school fees with the private school in Kenya versus the school fees here for private school here was absolutely amazing in terms of, again, saving a fraction of the price, and the curriculum is so intense that it's at a higher level than what you see here in the States.
Sorry, we lost you there. I'm not sure if it's the internet, but amazing conversation though. Hi Kia, can you hear us? Hello?
She may have cut off.
Maybe she had said that her laptop might have been going off. You've spoke about this as well. It's about education in Europe versus Kenya.
Yeah.
Like in Kenya, it's more.
Yeah. The system is more comprehensive in Kenya in terms of the curriculum.
Yeah.
It's more intense. Like you would ask a 5-year-old to name all types of clouds, and they will happily do that. And they base more. Hi, Kia.
Sorry, we lost you there.
I'm sorry, my internet is acting up. Sorry.
Yeah, we were just on that point of the difference in education as well. And you were saying something about the school that you took the kids.
Oh yes, the curriculum is much more advanced than the curriculum here is in the States, and it seems as though you get much more out of the school experience. We'll be doing a video on that as well to show families that even if you move to Kenya with kids, we also assist you with integrating your kids in the school system there. But like the curriculum, it comes with a foreign language already. It comes with swimming lessons, and of course the meals. And it comes with an environment of social environment where it's us, we, and not individualistic. So I love that about the school system there as well.
And we said you're a parent. Has your child as well come to Kenya? How does he like the country? Would he be looking to move as well? Or he just wants to stay in America?
I'm trying to convince him. He's in college. He just started his first semester of college this August. So he's supposed to be coming to Kenya with me to visit, and I'm going to try to convince him to transfer to school.
So he hasn't visited yet at all? He hasn't visited?
No, all these years he haven't visited
Yeah.
yet.
I bet once he visits, it's like, why have you?
I've been missing out on all this. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm not even worried. I just got to get him there.
If people don't use you and your company, what are the maybe 5 or 6, whatever kind of mistakes they make when they're relocating to Africa if they're not using your services?
And if you've met people who've given you stories about what happened wrong because they didn't get the proper guidance.
That's a great question, because that is eating people up left and right. They are messing themselves up. The first state is your mindset. By relocating, it's a luxury to relocate. Even if you're relocating to the continent, that's a luxury. Number 2, finance. That's the biggest thing. People are not prepared to live in Kenya, especially Nairobi, because they think they can go get a furnished apartment in Kilimani or Westlands for like $100. That's you're not gonna find something for $100 fully furnished in Westlands or Kilimani. You're just not, right? And so they think they can go and live in Kenya compared to what people are talking about in Ghana. It's cheaper to live in Ghana than it is to live in Kenya. So you cannot compare the two with what you're seeing on the YouTube, and people are telling you about their experiences, but they're not telling you about all of the mistakes they made and all of the money that they've lost. Number 3, people do shipment. We also do household goods. We help you ship your goods to Kenya. People are getting ate up because you're getting companies that's overcharging you because you're American. Or misinforming you, and you're losing thousands of dollars. People are holding your goods because they want to charge you more money, extortion, and so on and so forth. All right. Number 4, whatever number I'm on, immigration. Immigration. People think that they can just get citizenship in Kenya. Kenya is not giving out citizenship to Black Americans, so cut it out. That's not a reality. Probably not going to happen no time soon. And you also have to make sure that you qualify for the right permit or visa to live in the country legally. All right, that's another thing that's eating people up left and right. Healthcare is another thing. You're relocating older people or people with medical issues over to Kenya, mostly older people. I've heard a couple cases of people moving their entire family with their grandmothers, their moms, and they're 80, 70 years old, and they don't have no type of healthcare plan in place. And so they end up having to move back into the States because they have no idea about the healthcare system in Kenya. All right. Housing. They're getting ate up with the rental cost. You can go there and somebody say it's $90K. And then turn around, they charge you $180K. When you know you can get it for $90K. But because you're American, and you don't have a local Kenyan working with you, you're going to get overcharged. You don't speak the language. You don't speak Swahili. So you have to know at least some words in Swahili. You have to know the culture or have somebody locally helping you. So those are some of the areas where I'm seeing people are making horrible mistakes and they're losing tons of money or getting frustrated and leaving the country and moving to another country or moving back to the States.
That's true.
You mentioned a couple of things when you're speaking about that, and it just begs the question, when you're moving or when you're relocating, what are you seeing people trying to bring to Kenya that they think might not they might not find, or it's like, they don't know what is there, so they're trying to ship all this stuff and then end up spending a lot and maybe realizing that I would have just come to Kenya and bought maybe furniture and it's cheaper here. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are people trying to bring that you're trying to advise them? You don't need to do all this. This will just cost you.
TVs.
Yeah.
Microwaves. We're like, come on, man. These people got better TVs over there than.
And then you bring one from the US and pay tax for it again in Kenya, which is gonna be high.
The taxes,
Yes, furniture. You guys we have one of our clients furnished her apartment, and she wanted more westernized furniture, such as myself. I'm selling everything and buying my furniture there as well. And you guys got a few furniture stores that will cater to Western style furniture and things of that nature. So really, you can literally sell everything in your house and get it in Kenya, and it's better quality and for a cheaper price. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
In terms of the pricing.
As we said, entrepreneurship is a hard journey. So what kept you going for many times when you felt like, oh my God, I'm gonna pack my bags and go back to America? So what kept you going?
So Kenya never made me. Well, no, I can't. No. So while living in Kenya, I had moments of frustration, especially trying to get people to move on the time that I need them to move.
For things to happen.
Oh my gosh, that had me so frustrated. And I would cry and I would, say I can't do this. And I would then get a call from a client and they'll say, we saw you on the internet and we love what you're doing. And we love that you're helping us move to Kenya and being the person on the ground to kind of navigate in order for us to not have to go through that. And then I'm like, but I had a long romantic relationship with Kenya. And when I moved there, the veil was relieved and I got to see the ugly side of her and the beautiful side. And so now we have a real relationship.
But I guess the versus US, you have this lived experience of comparison of actually everything. You've seen both sides. I think Kenya is still winning because right now you said you're just there to sell your house and moving permanently.
I literally have my house on the market. I wish I could show y'all the sign. I literally have. And I'm kind of surprised again that Trump won, but this works for me.
Yeah. I'm thinking you're getting a lot of customers this year, just the first year, because he has threatened people about what he's wanting to do.
Yeah, this is not a good look. It's not a good look. So we'll see.
How is it then for you? You try to sell your house in the US and you still have property in Kenya. How do you look at the property markets? How do they seem? Is it easier to do that in America? Is it going to be easier for you to sell your house?
So in America, you don't really own the land. You know what I mean? You don't.
Yeah, really it's the house.
It's you don't own the land or the house either, because if you miss the taxes on this house, if you miss your payment, if it could go in foreclosure, you could lose it. Whereby in Kenya, you buy the land, it's your land. Even if you don't pay the taxes for 20 years. I know now Kenya is trying to force people to pay their taxes $6. And I mean, right now, even if they didn't pay it over 20 years, it's only probably like $600. And it's trying to incentivize people to pay their taxes, but they can't take the land. They own the land, and this is leasehold land. And so that's what makes it a bit more attractive. You actually own the land in Kenya, and as an American, that gives it more. You actually have assets versus a liability here in the States.
That's amazing. Any experiences you have that we've seen the amount of, let's say, safety in Kenya versus America? There's a lot of guns, gun control is a problem, shootings and all that. How would you compare the general security in Kenya, especially when you're advising people who are trying to move? Maybe even children going to school, how safe is it? Just the general security of someone living in Kenya versus in the US.
Excellent. And in fact, I used to get frustrated going to Kenya sometimes because they got a security guard everywhere. I'm like, golly, I'm just
yeah. Every supermarket, every door has someone guarding it. Yeah.
I just want to go get some groceries. Why you got to pat me down for everything? But so they it's over secured in Kenya. And so I mean you can walk the streets. Listen, I lived in Kilimani off the Kindaruma Road. Anybody that know that area, close by Ashaki Grill. Shout out to Ashaki Grill, man. And I would go to the bar. I mean, I live right there, but of course, this is still expat area, but still, go to the bar, leave the bar, walk from the bar back to my apartment at 1 a.m. in the morning, free as a bird. I'm on live, showing people, y'all, I am walking in the streets of Nairobi at 1 a.m. from a bar. Nobody bother me. You don't feel like you're going to be attacked or anything like that. You go home and you can literally leave the door open and nobody will bother you. So it's really, really safe. I feel safer in Kenya than I am here in the States.
Amazing. That's such a big thing for someone to hear. Someone who's lived in Kenya, has lived all their whole life in the US, say that they feel safer in Kenya than they would be in the US. That's a major sell point.
Yes. You guys don't have. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Please. You're our guest. So
I was just going to say about the gun laws. Like in Kenya, that don't exist.
Yeah, we
you don't want to get caught because you'll be dealt with. And so I think that y'all know how that works. You know, so in terms of crime, if something happened in Kenya now and you see someone that gets murdered or something like that, that's still like a what in Kenya, you know what I mean? That's not the norm. That's not something you see on the news and be like, that's the norm. Whereby here, you could be walking down the street and get shot, and that's just the norm. Somebody got killed today, you know what I mean? And that, and you know, and so it's still a rarity in Kenya, which makes it even more attractive because that's how safe the country is.
It's because I've been here 6 years and I've never seen a policeman with a gun, you know, so and it's quite safe, and Kenya is quite safe as well. Let me ask you, Kia, if somebody wanted to relocate to Kenya, say today, or maybe of course you have to take some time to plan that, how much money would you tell somebody you need these safely, maybe for like a year? How much money would you need?
Do you have numbers that you just generally
at least monthly?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it depends on the person's lifestyle and what they want to do. Now, I know for me, I'm not finna leave the States and go live, but I'm finna go live good in Kenya, okay?
Yes, of course.
Want to live nice when I relocate. And so if you take me, for instance, someone like myself who wants to live in middle class Kenya, have a vehicle, have a house manager, because you don't get to do that.
Oh, that's a big deal.
That's still my biggest culture shock up to now. I still have to cook, clean, think of work, do the baby's hair, do everything up to date. Things we take for granted.
Just the other day, we were, I think we were at a dinner meeting, and then we were speaking to some white folks in Scotland, and then I think she was saying that she used to have like people for her garden, someone to look at her, help her with a child, and then they asked, were you like rich or something? Do you come from like the family that is and she was like, no, we were just like the normal people. Because here, childcare, that was one of the topics they were speaking on, even in politics, because people don't get a chance to either choose to work, stay at home. But in Kenya, you can have people helping you to do almost everything, and it's not expensive.
No.
Not expensive. And the regular Kenyan most Kenyans have a house manager. So, so I will have a house manager, groceries. I like to eat fine dining. So you allocate that. I like to travel, so I'll probably travel around the country and around Africa. So I would say for me, you would need at least to have 3,000 a month to be able to live like nice, and I ain't got to watch how much money I'm spending on gas or watch how much money I'm spending on food or anything. I would say comfortable $3,000 for a single woman or man living in middle class Kenya. That would be good. If you want to live on the economy, you definitely can live less than that. But you're going to forfeit some amenities. So you can get an apartment that's probably $600 not furnished, or $500 in certain areas, but they don't have any backup generators, or the road that the apartment is on is horrible. It's flooding in that area. It's loud. You got, so you have to take certain things into consideration in terms of your lifestyle. So I would say for a single person, at least $3,000 if you want to live in middle class Kenya. For a family of 5, middle class Kenya, at least 5,000. And that's a husband and wife. Husband and wife. I would say 5,000. You can live comfortably. You may want to have a little bit in your savings, because if you have children, you have to pay the school fees, clothes, things of that nature. But we had a guest that we relocated, and she moved on Two Rivers Mall.
Okay.
And she cut the cost right there, because I said, oh my God, that was brilliant. You don't have to leave the mall.
Everything is right there. Yeah. Go down, pick up your stuff.
Right, you cut your cost right there. So that was brilliant. So if you do something like that, I mean, forget it. All you paying is your rent, and then your grocery store is right there. The hospital is right there. It's secured. The playground and places for the kids is right there. You cut your cost right there. So yeah.
What's your favorite Kenyan meal?
Ooh. Sukuma wiki. Yeah. So, fun fact: African Americans are known. It doesn't matter where you're from in the States. We eat collard greens. Sukuma wiki is collard greens. Yeah. So, and it is indigenous to East Africa, which means we brought it from East Africa to the Americans. So that is my favorite dish, and then choma. Any choma is good.
Choma is like, that's a staple for all of us. Like, what would you say is for you living in Kenya now? For how long have you been there? By the way, 13 years. Fully on?
I've been. No. Oh no. I was visiting for 13 years, but the last year I've been living in Kenya. In increments. So but 13 years I've been going back and forth doing business and staying, 2 months here, 3 months here. But last year I started living there, majority time there, and coming back. Well, I had to come back this year to close out everything. So last year I actually moved to Kenya.
Speaking about that, what do you think about culture in Kenya versus the culture in the US? Do you see in Kenya we have like a lot of different tribes? I think in the US it's just like you have the white people, and then there's the Black Americans, there's people from Mexico or stuff. That's like, it's totally different from the setting in Kenya. What do you think about how it is in Kenya, all the different tribes? Is there any unique tribes that you have been maybe interested in mostly, or where you are? Because when you're in Kenya, you end up maybe staying in a certain locality and learn about a certain people more. How has that been for you?
So compared to the U.S., because we're multicultural here. Even though we're Black Americans, and I consider us being our own tribe of people, we're very diverse as well. But in Kenya, you have 44 tribes, of which the 44th tribe is the Asian community. But I've really found, I work with Luo Lua a lot, my team.
Yeah.
Kisi people, I really love Kisis. Kisis are really, really good.
Yeah.
Meru, I've worked with Kiko, mostly, Kiku, you can't get around now.
You can't avoid them, yeah. Especially when you're doing business or selling something.
Yes, you just can't get around it. I've worked with Kambas, some Kalangis, everyone really. But I think who I'm really enjoying and really interested when I return to Kenya is the Kisi people. I can't wait to go to Kisi and really dive into their culture. But my DNA came back 27.7% Kenyan and of the Luo tribe. Yeah. So I'm Luo. I didn't know that.
Hence why you're bougie.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I had been going to Kenya for 9 years, and in 2019, my family did our DNA, and I really didn't care what I came back because I'm like, Kenya's home. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I had been named Wakesho Akini, so I got a Taita name and a Lua name 13 years ago, not knowing when we did my DNA.
You're gonna turn out to be, that's interesting.
What makes it even interesting is that the Lua people are the people of the Nile Lords. Well, where I'm from in the States, we're also known as water people because the city that I'm from is a coastal city, and we're known for fish, crab, and seafood. And water people, the Talapichi people, are on the coast of North America. So it made it quite interesting that I came from Nile Lord people and ended up on the water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
In the States. So going to Kisumu in 2021, I actually got to go to a village in Kisumu where my family could be from. And that was interesting because when we ate the food, their tilapia is the best. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. They know how to do it properly.
I like fish.
Yeah.
But there's a place in Adams Arcade. I got to shout her out. Fish Point in Adams Arcade.
Yeah.
Where she get fresh tilapia every morning.
Yeah.
And it is the best wet fried fish I ever had
in my life.
Okay. So that's that. But the tribe in Kisumu, they made a stew chicken. And when they brought the stew chicken out, I asked the lady, I said, how did you make the stew chicken? Because it looks like our stew chicken. I said, you tell me and I'll tell you if we make it the same.
Yeah.
The only difference in the way they make their stew chicken, and you guys use this on everything you cook, is the tomato paste, the base tomato sauce.
Yeah.
You guys put tomato.
Yeah.
We don't use tomato sauce. We just put onions, we brown it. You put the water in there, you stew it, right? Same thing.
Same thing. How you make it.
It was amazing. Yes.
That's so good to hear. What street food do you have? Because we have a number of street foods in Kenya. I don't know if you've got a chance to have that. There's there's motura. There's the eggs that they crack and then put some. Yeah. Have you had all that?
I did, but I'm not a sweet person. I don't eat too many sweets. So I don't really. I get into the food, the chapati, your sausage, your choma. Shout out to Kitengela because they got the best choma in all of Kenya to me.
That's true. You're so Kenyan. Everything you're just hitting the points. Like I feel like I'm speaking to a Kenyan who would say, "There's this place I go. It's that place. It's in Adams Arcade. It is in Kitengela. You can find the best this in that." You're so cultured.
Yes. At this point, I'm Kenyan.
Yeah, I feel like I'm speaking to a Kenyan. It's only the accent that is throwing me off right now.
I know. I'm gonna take you slightly away from the culture into again back to property. I've been doing real estate for close to 13 years now. See the project you have in Thika. Could you tell us more about it? So you've acquired land. Is it a joint venture? If somebody buys a parcel of land, are you gonna build for them, or they have to come and build for them? At what point point, do they, can they move in? Is it ready to move in? Or, tell us more about that, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way that the plan will go is we'll be selling off plan. So we have 2 renderings that we offer: a 3-bedroom bungalow, or a what we call here ranch style home. There are luxury 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath. It has a butler's pantry, a butler's kitchen, excuse me. It will have 3 outside balconies, veranda. You can add a pool, a gazebo, and I think the square footage is about 2560. So you can actually buy off plan, make payment plans at no interest rate, up to 24 months.
All right.
And as you pay, of course, we will then break ground once we get to a certain percentage of the payment, and start to build as you pay. So that can take up from 9 months to 24 months, depending on what payment plan you go with. We aren't doing any financing locally. My partnership is in-house. Everything is internal. So we are financing this. We are doing this project on our own. But you'll be able to buy off plan with us as well. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. Is this only open to the diaspora community, or are the Black Americans, or is it open to anybody living
Even the
anywhere
Kenyans
in the
around.
world?
Anybody. This is going to be, as we build towards building a community, we want to build a community where it is the African American diaspora, or African diaspora outside the Kenyan diaspora, and the Kenyan diaspora as one, and local Kenyans. So anybody can purchase through this project.
How big is the project in terms of acreage?
We're looking to build on 6 acres. Start with 6 acres.
Okay.
So start with maybe 16 to 20 homes is what we're looking at.
And how much is it, please?
So the 3-bedroom right now, approximately the starting price. Again, we relaunched, so these prices may change. So don't hold me to it. But the starting price, the sale price for the 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2560 in square footage is $188 starting price. So we're looking at about 25 mil, or let me see what that is. I believe it's 25 mil. I believe, but let me. A little under 25, about 23 mil. Starting.
Okay. All right.
All right.
And
that area is off of Garrison, so Garrison Road. So it's in Thika, but it's Kilimabogo. So you have view of Mount Kilimabogo. We also have we're 5 minutes away from 14 Falls, and then 2 minutes off the tarmac. Off of Garrison Road. So it's premium, it's prime real estate.
Yeah, that is really nice. And where are your offices in Kenya if somebody wanted to find you?
We're in Adams Arcade, Watagama Court. So Watagama Court. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Yes.
You're good. Your pronunciations are coming to the Kenyan now. I think you're around Kenyans enough.
I'm trying. I know Swahili Kidogo, but I'm
trying. Nice one.
Try and also tell us where people can find you online, your pages, your YouTube, where they can find your content. I know you're very active as well online, which is amazing.
Yeah, we try to keep up. People want to see what you're really doing, especially Americans. They skeptical. So when they hear you say, "Oh, you can go to Kenya, you can do this," but if they don't see what you're doing, they're not going to trust you. Okay. So you can find us on our website, which is tverse.com. You can access the website and find everything that we offer on the website. You can also find us on IG, and all of our social media handles is Traverse Culture, the name of the company. But what I'm most excited about is our YouTube channel. We are pushing a lot of content over to the YouTube channel. People have been requesting long, extended content so they can see in detail what we offer,
what's happening,
what we do, and learn about the beautiful country of Kenya. So please go to our YouTube page today. subscribe, comment, and share. Tell us what you think about it, especially my Kenyans. Let us know if we're doing it right. Give us some feedback on what we could do better. And if you love it, share it with your friends and family. But you can find us on YouTube at Traverse Culture, IG, TikTok, Twitter, and everything else.
Amazing. Give us one example of one of your most favorite tours that you went for. Where was it in Kenya? Something that you experienced that was totally amazing and you would wish for even I to come and do back home.
Yeah, so two of the experiences that blew me away. One was Kibera, and really meeting the business owners and the people and the Nubian tribe. That was really, really cool. And we got a new video coming out about that, and that's going to be fire. I can't wait.
You see how crazy that is? I've been to Kibera only once in my life, and even then I had to like Google map it because I had to take somebody there to translate for them. And I went to pick them up at a hotel, and then they were like, "You're the translator, yeah. Also, we're going to Kibera. Can show us the way?" I was like, I've never been to Kibera. Why would I go to Kibera? Because it's the slum. Why would I be going there? And that was the first and only time I've been.
I forget about it. I go to Kibera on my own. I got my locks redone.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Loctician in Kibera. I drive to Kibera by myself. I'll be there until 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, drive by myself. I walk around with my phone, film everything. I take out. I love Kibera. Shout out to Kibera. So that was life changing. And then you know what was surprisingly? Bomas of Kenya.
Bomas of Kenya.
Oh, Bomas of Kenya really surprised me. Shout out to Bomas of Kenya. They don't get enough credit for the work, the hard work that they're doing on the ground. And what made Bomas so shocking is that it represents a lot of the tribes, and you get to see how they live,
how they live. Yeah.
Oh man.
All right.
Yeah, Bomas of Kenya was really shocking. I thought it was going to be real contemporary and and I was just like but when we went I was like, I love Bomas of Kenya. So yeah, that was one of the places.
Great.
Are you working with Mzungus? If a Mzungu wanted to relocate because they know nothing about Kenya, would you be willing to work with?
Or have you actually relocated some of them? Are they interested as well, the Caucasians?
Yeah, I would work with a Mzungu. We haven't relocated, but we've had some travel with us. Very few, because our main target audience is people who look like us, but not exclusive. We do want to diversify our clientele. So I did have a German lady reach out to me. She wanted to work with us and relocate. And so I told him when she's ready, we'll relocate her. And if we have a job opening, we don't mind diversifying our job opportunities and clientele. So yeah, we would relocate anyone of any race, as long as you get the why, as long as you understand the agenda, and that you will be integrated through us and not repatriate because you're not from Kenya. You're integrating to the country. We'll do it. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on our show. You've been an amazing guest. It was short notice. It's quite early. You're in the US right now. All the best getting your house sold and going back home. I promise I must come to your business. Safari. I must go on your safari when I come back to Kenya. It was an amazing show, and we appreciate you.
Your energy is amazing.
So we've been speaking to Kia Simmons, Wakesho Wakenye. You have more names than I have, more Kenyan names than I have. She's the owner of Traverse Culture. They provide relocation services, tourism, medical tourism, property acquisition in Kenya. This is specifically tailor-made for someone who's trying to even relocate to Africa, go back to your roots. And it was an amazing show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
All right, peace.
Bye.